I took one of his pictures, screenshot it, got on Google, reverse image searched it, and then boom. And when I saw this, I was enraged. Queen Elizabeth, Exhibit A. Meet your catfish. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Simone Nicole here, back at it again with yet another video, and today's video is going to be a Tinder horror story time. I have been online dating for a little while now, and I actually have a show, a whole dedicated show over on Snapchat called Swipe Talk, all about the ups and the downs of online dating. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out, especially if you enjoy the stories that I'm about to tell you. You're gonna get a kick out of my show. So I wanted to tell you guys these couple of stories that I have, and you can laugh at my misfortune, and we can laugh together, because you know, my life is a joke. So if you like to laugh and hear story times about how someone tried to catfish me, and also about a time that a guy literally introduced himself to me as my quote catfish, you know, please keep watching. When I look at my dating life, I actually haven't had it that bad, like I said in the intro, but I do seem, you know, one might call it a pattern. I've been told that I have a pattern in my dating history. I guess that these bad habits made their way over to the executives at a new dating app, because they actually reached out to me to try a new dating app out on the market called S'more. This video is actually done in partnership with S'more, and I'm so excited that they reached out to me. I'm the first YouTuber that they have ever worked with, which is such an honor. One could argue that if I had used S'more, then maybe I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in this video. The whole point in S'more is that it wants to break the cycle that I just described of myself, let me not use us, of myself going through the same habits and doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. It is considered the non-superficial dating app because they pride themselves on making sure that you get to know somebody for who they are and not just how they look. The app also doesn't filter by race, which is something that I know that if you are a minority of any kind, then you experience that. You are only able to see someone's attributes, actually. The way that you are able to see the person's face is by communicating with them. You can send voice memos, you can send video responses. All the communication goes to break down the kind of like pie that's over their face. So every time you communicate with someone, a piece of the pie goes away so that you're able to see the person that you have been communicating with. S'more is looking to give real people genuine connections to each other. So if you're looking for genuine connections and actually building upon a relationship, then S'more is for you. Make sure you check out S'more, linked down in my description box. I make these mistakes so that you don't have to. Usually people don't come at me out of pocket on these dating apps. It's usually pretty chill. The people that I match with are generally pretty cool, and I have never in real life met a catfish. Put a pin in that statement until we get to my next story. Before this first story, someone really tried me. Picture me on the couch, glass of wine, Wednesday night, and I'm scrolling, trying to find another man to go onto the list of Simone's boyfriends. And I come across this fine young man named Matthew. I should have known that something was up, because you're seeing the pictures. He was so fine. Like, so fine. Like, so fine. I was really mesmerized by how fine he was. So, you know, I'll put it past him. I can't stop saying that ever since I watched Local Black Child's video about how she had like a horrible Tinder experience. If you need a laugh, Local Black Child's channel is so for you. So Matthew was so fine. And something that I've learned from my co-host is that almost all people, especially where she lives out in LA, are verified. But not a lot of people are here in Atlanta. So I didn't like think super a lot about it, but then I kept on looking at how fine he was. But he's not verified. Do you think that that was a red flag for me? I was like, I love him. We are together. We are together. So then we actually end up matching. And I was like, that's weird. And it's sad because I've been kind of conditioned to think that men that look like that don't generally match with women that look like me. To be honest with you guys, because in my experience, don't come for me, but in my experience, men that get to that caliber of fineness no longer tend to date black women. They tend to date literally anyone else. So when we matched, that was also a red flag. That sounds so bad, but it's truthful. So we matched and I was like, you know, I'm gonna slide into his DMs, which is crazy. I don't do stuff like that, but I was like, I'm gonna slide in because I'm in love with him. So I slide into Matthew's DMs and I go, it's so funny I ran into you on here because I was looking to, because he said he was probably like an entrepreneur, a model or something like that. He named like a bunch of things that he did for a living. So I said, it's so funny I ran into you on here as I was looking to start a business and would like some guidance. I am in need of a personal trainer and I have a cramp in my leg that won't go away. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. I guess that means we're meant to be. That's funny. It's clearly sarcastic. It is clearly sarcastic. And Matthew responds and goes, cornroy, but okay. What's your number? Asterisk corny. And the cramp ain't good. We can fix that hopefully. First of all, red flag, red flag, red flag. Who asked for your number upon the first message? Some advice, ladies. Do not give out your number to these random men on these dating apps. So we can get a lot of information based on your phone number alone. So when he asked for my number immediately, that's when I was like, because I had already had my suspicions. I'd already had my suspicions about him, but I was like, you know what? I can't put it past him no more. So what did I do? I took one of his pictures, screenshot it, got on Google, reverse image searched it, and then boom. What was the first thing that popped up? A Facebook page for a man named Austin. And I said, Matthew. So I go through the Facebook page and then there's of course a link to the Instagram. And then I find him on Instagram and this man has 323,000 followers at the time of this screenshot. And that makes sense. And when I saw this, I was enraged because I just felt like, how dare you try to play with me? Like, how dare you play me like this? Like you were really trying to catfish me as if I'm not a detective. So what did I do? I said, nope. And then I, in quotes, said Matthew. And then I DM'd him and I also said, what's your goal here? Because I was going back and forth when I was messaging him. Like I wanted to cuss him out and be like, how dare you? All of a sudden I wanted to stand up for every single person ever that has gotten catfished and be like, you understand how messed up this is? Do you understand that this is not how you start a relationship? Do you understand how hurtful doing something like this is? Do you understand how dangerous this is? Do you understand how short-lived something like this is? So I said, what's your goal here? And I just wanted to know how he was gonna respond. To get you all cuffed up by me and then throw away the key, LOL, little chocolate fine ass. All I heard was to chloroform you, put you in my trunk, tie you up, throw you into my basement, lock the door, throw away the key. That's what I read. I don't know about you, but that's what I read. So I decided to like the message because I was playing along at this point. And I go, oh, really? So tell me about yourself. You said that you're an entrepreneur. What business are you in? Nothing. And then I didn't screenshot this, but later on, I DM'd him again and was like, hey, just was thinking about you. What's going on with you? Never got a response again. And then I went on to Tinder just to like look at the messages again. Tinder account is gone. I'm really happy that I took those screenshots, but I'm also not happy because he's still out there. If you're a catfish, comment down below and tell me. But that was indeed the time that someone tried to catfish me and put me in their basement and lock me up and throw away the key, but whatever. So this next story time wasn't officially a catfish, but that's the way he introduced himself to me. I feel bad because I went back and forth about telling this story because I actually ended up meeting this person in real life. He was actually a pretty cool guy, and he is definitely the type of person that would find this video and watch it. And I don't know if he would text me because I feel like his pride would be too big, but I don't put it past him, and I will tell you why. Picture me again on my couch, bottle of wine, scrolling through Tinder, and I see a very attractive young man. And I'm usually pretty good at sussing out like any secrets that someone's trying to keep or any ways that someone's trying to finesse on Tinder, because I do it for a living. So I can usually tell like the small things, like if someone is feeling not so good about their body, if someone isn't confident about their face, or one of the ones that I'm really good about sussing out is if someone is short. And let me say something to you short kings out there, okay? Keep going. Keep thriving. Do you know? But I am aware of the fact that I am attracted to tall men. I never want to waste anybody's time. I am not attracted to short men. I say all that to say that when I stumbled across this man's profile, didn't even think twice about any of that. I'm not gonna include any screenshots or anything like that in this guy because I actually did go out on a date with him and he didn't do anything bad to me, technically. So there will be no screenshots. So I'll just talk about it from my remembering. So his bio interested me because I knew that he was a Leo, and I don't really do those their kind, but I was trying to step outside of the box. That's what I call stepping outside of the box. It's like dating something other than an earth sign. I'm like, stepping outside of the box. I'm gonna try out this Leo. And then he also said something about like blood type, like what's your blood type? You would think that would be a red flag too. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna put it past him. I ended up matching with him, which is great. I probably matched with him on like a Monday, I wanna say. And we were talking and he asked if we could go out, which is completely fine. We were texting, trying to figure out what we were gonna do. And at some point relationships came up, and just casually I had asked him like, oh, when did your last relationship end? His answer was Sunday. Let me actually take this off and so that you can understand how serious I am. Let me remind you again, dear viewer, I matched with him on a Monday. He broke up with his girlfriend on a Sunday, and we were supposed to go out on our date on a Wednesday. Do you think that I said I'm gonna put it past him? I didn't. Let me tell you why. Content, baby. So I knew right then and there that this was nothing that I was going to be taking seriously, because I'm not dating anybody or taking anybody seriously that would break up with their long-term girlfriend, because he had been dating her, he said, for like between 8 months and 2 years. I'm so sorry, I can't remember because I know that's like a big difference. But in 8 months, you can still develop like some good feelings for a person, like some good, strong feelings for a person in 8 months. I would never date anybody that could date me for an extended amount of time, and then like the day we break up, you get on Tinder and you're taking out a new girl on a date like 3 days after we broke up. No. I agreed to go out on this date with him, and we meet at a particular restaurant. And once I get there, I beat him there. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I beat him there. And I was like, I don't think this restaurant is really a vibe. He said, okay. So he came in, but I was already sitting down. So he told me that he was there. So in order to get to him, I had to go up some stairs. So the stairs that I had to go up were like really like cobblestoney, like very rough and uneven. So I didn't want to like trip or anything, and I was wearing my Sage Low Air Force Ones. The reason why I mentioned that is because they have a platform on them. I'm 5'2", and I am wearing Sage Low Air Force Ones, which would put me at about 5'3". I get to the top of the stairs and I look up, and the man that is standing in front of me is about 1 inch shorter than me. And his first words to me are, "Meet your catfish." The poker face in which I exuded that day, top tier. I think I like kind of laughed and like shrugged it off like, no. But in my head, I was like, so I'm never seeing you again. He seemed like to be a cool guy. Like it wasn't like I was like running for the hills, because he looked exactly how he looked in his profile. But when I went back on it and reflected on how I got myself into a situation like this, he knows he's short, which is clear by the way that he introduced himself to me, and he knows how to hide it. Because when you look through his profile, if I was able to show you guys his profile, I would. But when you look through his profile, you would never, ever know how short he is. And it's because he's very purposeful about making sure that you wouldn't be able to tell. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a pro. We're talking, we're chatting, and we end up deciding to go to a lounge. And so in this lounge, you know, the music is very loud. We're smoking hookah, you know. I wouldn't prefer that it be that loud for a first date because I would like to talk, you know. We sit down and we order the hookah. I get a salad, you know, like we're vibing. And eventually, like it always does, astrology comes up because I'm a psychopath. If you didn't know, I'm a Pisces moon, a Pisces sun, Gemini rising, Pisces Mars, and Pisces Mercury. I'm all Pisces. So baby, tell me about that astrology. I just don't usually bring it up as the first thing I talk to people about because I understand that it's so overly used and colloquialized that people get very annoyed when you bring it up, but they don't know that I'm a witch. That was meant to be a joke. I bring up astrology and he was like, I'm a Leo. And I'm like, I literally know because you put it in your profile. He asked me what I was. I said, I'm a Pisces. He said, oh, that's funny. That's my ex-girlfriend's sign. And I said, I've dated in my recent memory 3 different men whose most recent ex-girlfriend was Pisces. And I'm like, what? He tells me that, we're chatting briefly about that. And then he goes, well, yeah, like, but also like, there's other things that can determine personality type, like your blood type, which goes back to the bio that I read on his Tinder profile. He researches how blood type can affect your personality. Apparently, when I talked about this, I forget where I talked about this briefly at, but someone told me that this is more popular in Eastern cultures, the belief that blood type has to do with your personality. And you know, I love a good conspiracy theory. Blood type personality who? Gucci Mane and Avril Lavigne are clones who? We never landed on the moon when? I'll listen to a good little conspiracy theory, like something just outside the box. Like I don't have to believe in something to like have a conversation about it. So I'm all ears. Up until he pulls out a PowerPoint about the research that he's done and zooms in and shows me the links that all of the like royalties and presidents have had to being either Rh negative or Rh positive, don't remember. And like it's pointing it out on his phone. Like it's literally like, so Rh negative, positive, XYZ, LMNOP. And I'm sitting there like literally sipping on like my lemon drop, like, and then I'm screaming, RH negative, you say, oh, Queen Elizabeth and Barack Obama and the Bush, whoa, that's crazy interesting. Like I said, poker face, top tier, top 2 and I number 2. So the date went on and it is the least I've ever talked on a date. I have never, ever spoken so little on a date in my life. He was the epitome of a Leo, like very, very masculine, very into himself. When he was talking about like why he believes like things don't work out with others, or like when he has conflict with others, one of the first things he would say is like they were like jealous or like not inferior. That's not like a good thing. That's not a good way to describe it, but like it was something in comparison to him. And he talked about himself a lot. I didn't want to go into it with any preconceived notions. And I also don't judge people based on the stereotypes of their sign, because I understand that people are complex. You have an entire birth chart that influences you. But when I say that man hit every single Leo trait, he hit all of them. And do you think he just pulled out their PowerPoint once? Pulled it out at least 2 or 3 times. Every time he needed to make a new point about blood type, he's like, Queen Elizabeth, exhibit A. The Clintons, exhibit B. My mother and father, OH negative, R positive, B plus, A minus. And every time I would say something, he would be like, you're probably B blood type. Most Black people are B blood type. I wonder if you're B plus or B minus. And I was sitting there like, B plus or B minus? No, in reality, B plus or B minus, did you say? Oh man. And then at some point I was like, you know, I'm just gonna be truthful about what I do, because I lie about what I do on these dating apps. I ended up being truthful about it. And he was like, oh, am I gonna end up being a story time on your channel? And I was like, no, No. Story time. But I do kind of still feel bad though, because he was a nice guy. He just was so clearly, like the whole time I was on the date, I was like, you are so clearly out of practice with dating, because this is so unbelievably inappropriate. Like there's so many things, like telling me that you just broke up with your girlfriend 2 days ago, pulling out the PowerPoint, introducing yourself as my catfish. Like I was just like his experiment entering back into the dating world, and that's okay because I got some content out of it and he got to, why was I about to say tickle his pickle? He got to get his feet wet in the dating world again. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's video. I know that we were in for a wild ride with that one. I hope that you guys enjoyed laughing with me at the perils of my dating life. Thank you again to S'more for partnering with me on today's video. Our last order of business is to do our subscriber shout out of the day. And today's subscriber shout out is going to go to Princessa Curls. Princessa commented on my natural hair collection video and she said, love a natural hair collection video, one of my favorites. And I would just like to say, I think this is the same Princessa that is always like commenting and supporting myself and my co-host, both on my personal socials, clearly on my personal YouTube, and over on Swipe Talks Instagram, on our TikTok lives, on our Instagram lives. Like she is so unbelievably supportive in every single way. So I would like to say again to you, Princessa, I thank you so much. And if you are not the same Princessa, that's awkward. That's awkward. If you would like to be my subscriber shout out in my next video, then all you have to do is comment down below, say something nice and say something sweet to your girl, and maybe you could be my next subscriber shout out of the day. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much again for joining me for today's foolishness. And if you would like to see more story times, then I have a playlist that should be up on one of these sides of me that you can go through and laugh at the foolery. Remember to keep positivity in your life because positivity breeds positivity, and we have no time for negativity in 2021. I'll see you guys super duper soon in my next video. Bye guys.